All right, so today I wanted to do a reply to a comments that I saw on one of Jess's videos, because it really is an issue that's been coming up more and more in my comment stream lately, and apparently hers as well. So if you're not familiar with the iPad Rehab channel, and somehow you found this channel but don't know that that one exists, I'd highly suggest that you check out the iPad Rehab channel. She does a lot of what I do, except her focus is on portable devices like iPhones, iPads, iPods, etc. And what she's primarily doing is, one, data recovery. So, if you drop it in the toilet or something like that and the device is burned, she will figure out how to get the data off of it. And B, or number two, I should say, I'm tired, it's the end of the day, so I'm mixing up my letters and my numbers. Two, what she does is she fixes the fuck-ups of other stores. So, they rip off the battery connector, they rip the little inductors or capacitors right by the gas gauge line, they destroy the connector, stuff like that. She fixes what everybody else screws up. And a lot of you watching this, if you have a cell phone repair store at some point, probably know her because you've sent something to her. I've sent stuff to her too. So yeah, everybody at some point has sent something to Jessa. And this is a video that she did recently on a phone that she had gotten from Apple. And this phone itself was liquid damaged. And, it was a refurbished phone, I should say. So it was a refurb phone, and the phone itself had liquid damage. As you can see here, I'm being a bit of a YouTube upload whore. For those of you that say I haven't done board repair videos in a while, that's because I have a lot to edit. So yeah, like I have this and this and this and this. I've done a lot of editing of my SSDs throughout the past few days. But yeah, just lots and lots of stuff there. But let's go back to her video and her comment. Actually, the comment that I wanted to talk about here. Let's see. I've left a few comments here already. Here we go. So these sort of videos are the reason that I unsubbed from Louis. I've been an independent repair technician for 27 years, we're going to get to this in a second, involved in several fields, both digital and analog. I've fixed so many devices in my life that it's nice to watch someone else fixing something for a change. Never once have I sat around and spouted off like you or Louis on these Apple rants. This doesn't serve to discredit, doesn't serve to credit you or your abilities. I've never taken the time to really discuss just how wrong you've both been at times, pointing out how Apple does this and Apple did that in an effort to discredit their decisions to assert some sort of technological superiority, all while demonstrating no real grasp of exactly what you're looking at or why. It's embarrassing. Not only does this sort of stuff do the exact opposite of what you feel it serves to do by making the repair community appear as bitter children that told you so, but you've just impulsively opened the door to a libel suit. And for what? You can't verify the origin of that device. You don't know who touched it or if it factually reflects Apple's policies on device refurbishment. Let's assume it did come from Apple. You've never heard of a shitty employee? Nah, let's assert that Apple sells water-damaged boards and refurbished devices. What could possibly go wrong with that debased blanket statement? Then again, to all the thousands of devices you've had open, this is the second one. It must be true. What's worse, you just broadcast that headline to 11,000 subscribers. Where's your head at? Even one of those shitty self-proclaimed design issues that you and Louis go on about puts food on your table. You should be thankful that they're not making them better. When I perform a repair, I let my work do the talking, and people will make up their own minds about their experience with an independent repair facility. I don't go into a video love profession for myself. I don't slam Jägermeister and dog the local techs. Well, that's probably because you have better taste in liquor than I do. They're not incapable. They're doing what they're told to do with the tools they're given. This is self-serving kid shit you two are on. You're an embarrassment to the peers in your field who take themselves more seriously. Knock it off. So let's go through this point by point. The first point here that is kind of odd to me is where you say that you've been a independent repair technician for 27 years, involved in several fields, both digital and analog. Well, if you've been involved in repair for 27 years, then you of all people know that Pultec released schematics and diagrams for their equipment. Yuri released schematics and diagrams for their equipment. Neve released schematics and diagrams for their equipment. SSL released schematics and diagrams for their equipment. Studer released schematics and diagrams for their equipment. And when it comes to the broadcast field of video equipment, forget it. Not only would you get a schematic and a diagram, you would get a little 900-page book on how to calibrate it and do all of these things. And the same thing with, let's say, the lower cost stuff. So here I'm talking about higher cost gear. We're talking about compressor modules that can cost $3,000 to $6,000. We're talking about consoles that cost $100,000. Let's talk about your general cheap stuff. I have a Parasound HCA 1000A in my office. That amp is like $800, and I was able to get a schematic of that amplifier from the company as an end consumer. I didn't contact Parasound as a repair shop. I contacted them as an end consumer asking for the diagrams and the schematic to that 20 plus years out of production. I can do that for Adcom gear. I can do that for Rotel gear. I can do that. You used to be able to do that for NAD gear. I don't want to say if that's still true now. But if you want information on how the product works, it's very easy to get it, and often it's very easy to get that information about those products as an end consumer. So if you've been in the field for 27 years, then I kind of feel like you've been around long enough to know that with virtually every other company, that this is, it's not really an issue. It's only been an issue that's been coming about in the modern age, and a lot of people will say that everybody copycats Apple. Everybody copies Apple with what they do. Like, they even copy the bad. You see with Samsung sealing the battery into the phone, not giving you an option for an SD card slot, removing liquid resistance in the S6 so that it wasn't as liquid resistance as the S5. Everybody seems to copy Apple, and they even copy the bad things that Apple do. So the reason that I'll bring these things up as an issue is because other companies are going to be copying what Apple does, and they're going to be copying the stuff that's bad as well as the stuff that's good. And one of the things that's bad is when they go out of their way to keep documentation from people. So again, I see a lot of insults here. I see a lot of your self-serving kid shit, embarrassment to people in the field. So I mean, this person has said a lot of things here, but again, a lot of the things that I've said, you can back them up. So when I say things like, you used to be able to, if you used to be able to solve a sensor issue by hitting a key on your keyboard, and it would run a diagnostic test, and it would say, Forson's VPR is the sensor that's not working, I'm not making that shit up. You used to be able to do that. Now, and again, this is something that I've talked about in these videos. Let's just find my video. This is something that you cannot do. Like this video here, I show you how it worked, and I show you what you were able to do, and then I show you what happens when you try to do it on the newer machines. You have to pirate software. You have to pirate software to run tests. Now, in the first case, I did use a piece of pirated software to run that test, but you can also run the basic diagnostic test, which is built into the computer, which will, in many cases, tell you which sensor failed just fine. And I went into that with this video. I showed you how it goes both ways, and in the follow-up video to this video, let's just find my annotation here. I don't want to listen to my ad. This is where I get... Come on. They should let YouTube content creators skip their own ads. I wonder how many people wind up clicking on their own ads. Let's see. All right, so I don't have an annotation to the follow-up of this video. Yeah, I'm noticing how bad a YouTube content creator I am right now. Let's see. I believe that I use the word... Here we go. So the machine I was talking about in this video, the reason that I entitled the video Louis Keeps His Middle Finger High for Apple Inc. is because that machine took a month to fix. A month to fix because I had to manually do this over the entire board when the component that was bad, you'll see in this video, is like this tiny. And the reason that I had to do that is because the software was not available to tell me which sensor failed. And again, like, why would you go out of your way to change the entire way the software works? What is the point of doing that to where it will tell you, instead of this sensor has failed, you should take this to an Apple store, that it now says something has failed, you take it to an Apple store? What is the point of doing that when the machine still has the capability to tell you specific sensors failed if you run something like ASD EFI 3S162? What is the point of that other than simply making things harder? Can somebody explain this to me? Really, truthfully, honestly speaking, because again, if somebody is going to do stuff like that, if you're going to do that, if Apple wants to do that, that's fine. They can do whatever they want right now because of the lack of legislation, but then they also have to deal with the flack from people who don't like the fact that they have to spend hours and hours and hours manually checking thousands of SMD components one by one to figure out what a program could have told them in minutes. So again, I'm not pulling this stuff out of my ass. When I say these things, I can back them up with very specific examples of very specific machines that had very specific features that no longer exist in new models for no good reason. The boards are becoming more capable. They're becoming more complex. I think there's some like 4 gigabyte buffer chip in between don't quote me on this, you should check. It's late at night and I'm tired. But there's a buffer chip sitting between the webcam and the board that's something like 2 or 4 gigabytes of on the newer Retinas. I mean, there is so much capability in these newer machines, and you're telling me that it was absolutely necessary to remove the capability for somebody to see which sensor is broken without the need for pirated software. I think that's bullshit. And again, when we go on about, let's say, let's go. There are some points here, which is, that Jessa cannot verify the origin of the device. You don't know who touched it. And also, there's a really good part here, which is you've never heard of a shitty employee. And that's a good point. Monosurge has a really good point here. Have we never heard of a shitty employee? Does a shitty employee mean, one shitty employee mean that everything done at Apple is bad? It doesn't mean that. So why are they always doing it to us? Take a phone with the slightest little bit of issue with it to Apple. Take a phone with one screw that's screwed in halfway instead of all the way, where everything else is perfect, and say that you had it serviced at a third-party store. You know what they're going to say? Do you know what they say 99% of the time? They say that all third-party repair shops are shit. They say all third-party repair shops don't know what they're doing, that we cannot guarantee the validity of this when you've had somebody else screw around inside the phone. And they say it with that aura of superiority where nobody could possibly be correct but Apple when it comes to opening and repairing your precious obsolete device. To which I will say, and yes, we will be bitter about it. And yes, we will be annoyed about it because we've been dealing with it for a long time with no support, with no representation. And it sucks. And I will be annoyed about it. Jessa, who spends ridiculous amounts of time trying to figure out issues that nobody else is making any effort to figure out, are going to be annoyed by it. And I don't think that should surprise them. That's not even the part that got me on this post. The part that really just kind of shocked me was the part where it says, even every one of those shitty self-proclaimed design issues that you and Louis go on about puts food on your table, you should be thankful that they're not making them better. And this is the part that really scares me. And when I talk about how the people that are in our industry are often bottom feeders, when I insult our industry, I get into a lot of shit for insulting the consumer electronics repair business. I get into a lot of shit for slagging the people in it, and I'm not liked because of it. I will openly say that most of the people that I find on these Facebook repair forums and their IMEI cleaning and iCloud unlocking and let's not tell the customer that Apple's doing something cheaper, I am the first to say that most of them are scum. And when the people show up and tell me that they do this, I'll say that's a scumbag thing to do. I've said that to people who showed up for our tutoring course here. People who are paying $2,000 for a week of time to sit with me have said, oh yeah, every now and then I've done this, and I've said that's a shit thing to do. I am the first to say it. And I will even say it in times where it's going to make things awkward because somebody is clearly paying a lot of money to be here to learn. I'm the first to say these things. And the reason that I believe that to be true is because of this type of mindset. Why should I be thankful that somebody else has a dead machine with no support? See, I'm thankful to my customer. I'm thankful that a customer looked through the Rolodex of different businesses to bring something to, and for some crazy reason decided to choose mine. I will be eternally thankful to every customer that chooses my business over another business when they had multiple options available. For that, I am eternally thankful, eternally grateful, and very appreciative. And the people who are regular customers or first-time customers who first get to meet us, who say, we chose you over somebody else, they get that red carpet treatment where it's obvious that we're appreciative. I'm appreciative of the customer. I am not going to be appreciative of the company that fucked the customer. Why would I appreciate that? Why would I say, thank you, Apple, for not making this device liquid resistant when Lenovo and IBM figured out how to do it on their low-end line 12 fucking years ago? Why would I be thankful that the company is making the customer experience worse? Why would I be thankful that the company is selling a product that has these issues, like let's say the iPhone 6 Touch IC or the 2009 and 8 MacBook Pros with the C7771 problem, or the 2010 MacBook Pros with the C9560 problem? By the way, if you want to talk about things like I talk about self-proclaimed issues, yes, it's an issue. That capacitor was used in 3 different circuits in 2008, 9, and 10, and in each one of those circuits, it never worked. And for some reason, they decided to continue using it over and over again. That's not a self-proclaimed design flaw. That's something that if you simply put the values into into a basic engineering calculator, like go to your favorite engineering website, say that this circuit needs to provide this much power at this temperature, and this is what we're using on output. Virtually any engineering student, not even professor, is going to tell you that that circuit is a terrible idea and that it was most likely put together because they ran out of space and they needed to use a very small component rather than the proper size one. But that's an argument for another day. Why am I going to be happy that somebody else's design choice made somebody else's life shittier? What type of really fucking crappy thing is that to say? That we should be very happy that somebody else is losing money that they could have otherwise kept in their pocket because of a design flaw. Why should I be happy that when somebody dropped their phone and it just happened to land into a puddle on their wedding day while there were wedding photos being taken there, that because that device was designed by Apple and not Samsung like the S5, that now all the photos are gone because it's not liquid resistant? Like, why? We can argue all day about what's a better phone. I'm going to ignore that argument altogether. But why should I be happy that the issue exists? See, I'm about progress. I like progress. I want companies to become better at what they do. I love Lenovo and I love their laptops, and the reason I have so many videos ragging on them is not because I hate Lenovo, it's because I want them to make a better product. And I do, and if I don't rag on the things that are done so terribly bad, then how are they ever going to know that they should get better? If other people don't complain about the things Lenovo does wrong, how are they going to know that they should do better? If nobody complains about the things that Apple does wrong, how are they going to know that they should change or become better in any way? It's just one of those things. I fix Apple products. My primary revenue stream at this moment is liquid damage repair on Apple products. I admit that. That's my primary revenue stream. However, if that were to change, if tomorrow morning Apple released liquid-resistant products and just did something that I would find ridiculous, which is provide unlimited warranty service to accidental damage and spills on every product they've ever made. Even if they did that to the point where I had nobody walking in my door for that service, I'm not like, this is my tech is my living. Like, I will find another way to make money in this field. I'm not like praying to the Apple liquid damage God going, thank you for not liquid proofing these devices. Thank you for continuing to use tantalum 3 years in, even when it's obvious that that's not what you should use. I'm not like going, thank you so much for allowing me to put food on my table. No. I'm thankful to the customers that choose to use me. I'm not thankful to Apple for designing products that allow me to make a living, because I will make a living anyway. I will make a living in doing something else. I have made a living my entire life by adapting and changing according to what it is that I needed to do, and developing the skill set that I needed at the time. It's not like, when I couldn't make a living recording broadcast studio gear anymore that I was like, oh, well, I guess it's time to give up now and pack it in. That's not a business. No, I decided to do something else. And then when this is gone, I will do something else. The people who think that they should be thankful that there is an opportunity to make money and do it. Like, the people who thought, like, thank you, SSL, for making the J9000 have these shitty copper-plated switches that go every 5 years. Again, call me crazy. I may be crazy, but just maybe that's a person that has no talent in life other than desoldering a switch. Because if you have talent and a brain in your head that allows you to do something other than desolder a switch and solder it in, you're not going to be jumping for joy just because one device has an issue. I'm going to be doing something else to make money when there's no more money to be made doing this. I do this right now because it just so happens to be a way that I can combine all the things that I'm good at and all the things that I enjoy and happen to make for myself a very, very good living. I could get to combine problem solving. I get to combine sales. I get to combine the sheer smile that you can put on somebody else's face and how happy that makes me feel when I give them something back working that was otherwise dead. I get to feel that good feeling you get from helping somebody where somebody else would have not been able to help them or not been willing to help them. I get to enjoy, just running a business and helping and manage employees and watching them grow and watching them learn things. I get to combine all the things that I like into one business. And that's why I do this. But if this were not a viable field, again, like you're going to find people in tech that are really, really good at, like, let's say one programming language, and then when there's no more money to be made on it, they decide to, open a gas station or like work at a taco place or whatever. And then you're going to find people in tech that when one programming language is not popular, they learn another. And when that's not popular, they learn another. And when that's not popular, they get into project management. And when project management isn't popular, they open a firm that helps handle IT needs for other companies. Whatever it is, when people are, kind of have a brain in their head, they just kind of move on from one thing to the next. And they're not really, they don't believe that they need to be thankful that C7771 fails on every 2008 MacBook. They don't feel thankful that every GPU that Apple put into let's say a 15 or 17-inch MacBook Pro from 2011 is going to fail. They don't feel thankful that on the 13-inch Retina they decided in 2015 to, let the fan not spin until it gets to a really high temperature because it causes failure. Like, they're not happy about this. I like the fact that I can make money doing what I do, but because I have the ability to make money doing a number of other things, I'm not going to be happy when a customer takes on a practice that screws over the end user. Like, again, I have the luxury as somebody who has the ability to actually do something else with their life to not revel in the suffering, the misery, or the loss of money or the loss of time of other people because of a design flaw. Like, what technicians in this world actually go, thank God that they fucked up again? No. Again, I'm not a greedy asshole. I like making money, but I like making money off of providing something of use and value to the world. And I feel good doing what I do, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I would feel better if every single one of these design problems were fixed. Like, if everything were fixed, if none of these little issues existed, I would be very happy. I would move on to doing something else, but I would be happy for the fact that the people that I've enjoyed having as clients over these past 5-7 years are now people that are going to be happier and own better products. And, oh man, so some of this stuff, it's like, again, when you wonder why this is self-serving kid shit you two are on. I mean, when Jessa decides to start posting on the Apple community support forums, and she suggests to somebody who has a phone from 2010 that when it's not charging, if they have lint in the charge port, that they should take a toothpick and use that to remove the piece of lint rather than pay Apple $179 or $279 to replace their $50 iPhone 4, they delete it. And they say that that's bad advice from a hack. Like, that is self-serving kid shit. What we are doing is simply a response to it because after years and years and years, not only has it not changed, it's only gotten worse. And the thing is, if you don't speak up, it will only continue to get worse. I hear what you're saying when you say, when I perform a repair, I let my work do all the talking and people will make their own minds about their experience. I get that. And I personally speaking, I don't think that you should be one of those people that every time you get something in, you go, yep, look at what this guy did wrong. Yep. Look at what this guy did wrong. Yep, did you know what this guy did wrong? Because I've dealt with those people. Actually, this is getting weird. I mean, the longer I have a YouTube channel, the more I get to say I have a video for that. But I do have a video for that, which is on contractors. That is actually a pet peeve of mine. I don't look at my customers and spend 20 minutes telling them everything that the last guy did wrong. In fact, I'll tell them almost nothing that they did wrong. I'll put screws back in, I'll remove solder blobs that shouldn't be there, I'll do all this stuff, and I'm not going to look at them and say, the last person who did this fucked this up. I'm going to tell you how the last person fucked it up so I can feel better. Let's see. Let's find that video. I'm spelling contractors wrong because I'm tired. Contactors, wow. You can't see the time here because my face is covering it. It's 1:33 in the morning. Damn, it's late. I should go to sleep. But yeah, in this video over here, I actually went over this, and I said that you should let your work do the talking. You should let your work do the talking, and if your contractor starts spending all of this time explaining all the things that are wrong, that you should probably run away. Because when it comes to dealing with my end consumers, I don't talk in these terms. I don't put them through the litany of how Apple is treating the third-party repair centers. I don't go through this when I'm dealing with my regular customers, nor would this person who's making this post about how I'm an embarrassment, nor would you know how I deal with my end customers because you've never been an end customer. You've never emailed or solicited business from us or walked into our store, ever been a customer. How are you able to say what it is we're doing with our customers? How are you able to know how we deal with the people that walk in? You don't, so you probably shouldn't be talking about any of that, but the reality is that you are. So I leave that for YouTube. So yeah, this is the thing that a lot of people get twisted. Maybe it may surprise people, but I act different in real life than I do in a YouTube video. I may not drink Jägermeister like while I'm standing in the front of the store in real life. I may not wear Sharky the oven mitt in real life. I may not go over the difference between the regular diagnostic built into the computer and ASD when I'm explaining to a customer what we're going to do to fix their liquid damage. The YouTube channel is not my way of communicating with customers. The way I communicate with customers is I speak to them one-on-one when they walk in, or my salesperson does that, and the YouTube channel is a piece of commentary. This is really, for the most part, a commentary piece where I talk about what I'm doing when I'm doing my job. I show you how I do my job, and a part of showing you how I do my job is showing you how much more difficult it often is and when diagnostic tools and software are taken away from you. And that is very much so going to be a part of the content that I produce if I'm producing YouTube content on how to fix things. Again, do I think that you should spend 30 minutes talking to your customer about some of the crap that Apple does and tantalum capacitors and lack of liquid proofing and all of this shit? No, very often this does not have a place. If a customer asks me, I will give them a small bit of info. If they ask again and want more info, then I'll tell them more. If the customer wants none of that, then I'll simply tell them here, I'll figure out what they want me to do, and then I'll provide them with a solution. That's customer service. But am I going to be silent about the systematic demeaning of our entire industry and just stay silent as more tools are taken away, as more information is taken away? No. Why would I do that? I would say the people to this industry who are an embarrassment are the people who've been in this industry for 27 years who think that they should just sit silent and allow companies to take away our rights to do our job. Take away the tools that we need to do our job, to take away silk screening on the PC board, and then take away the board view, and then take away the schematic, and then take away the software that tests the board, all in the name of just for no reason. I think that makes you an embarrassment to our business, far more than it makes me. But again, I'll let people decide. And when it comes to things like this, not to make it into some type of dick-waving contest. That is not what I intend for this in any way. But if somebody wants to say that somebody's an embarrassment, all I would do is ask again. And I mean this in the most polite way. What have you done to help people in this business? What has Jessa done to help people in her field? What have I done to help people in my field? And what have you done to help people in your field? Because again, Not to make it a dick-waving contest, but I get letters in the mail, like handwritten letters, I get typed out letters, I get emails, I get photos sent every day of people's stores, of apartments that they moved into after they got a new job doing this that they wouldn't have had if I hadn't put up the instructional content that I did that allowed them to learn how to do their job. That, and the results are there. You can literally see it in the comments. There are these people that are learning how to do this, that are learning how to fix devices that would have otherwise went in the trash. I mean, it's funny when people are going to use words like the word embarrassment, When we decided to take 2 days off of work, when we decided that we were going to have customers screaming at us for 2 days so that while we were not able to do repairs because we decided to take 6 hours of our time to take a train to a crappy hotel at last minute so that we could lobby towards the Senate for this right to repair bill that would allow people like you who call us an embarrassment to have access to schematics, to have access to diagnostic tools and software, to have access to board views. Like when we decided to try and take time out of our day to lobby for these good things, I mean, where were you? Because funny, I don't remember seeing you in the Senate chamber. I don't remember seeing you in Albany. I don't remember meeting you, and I don't remember you sitting there next to me as I explained to an assembly person that no, and I quote, when the Apple lobby, this is what they explained to me about what the Apple lobbyist told them, and I quote, when you take that schematic and use it to fix a board, you are turning it into a PC, but then you are not representing it as a PC to your customer. You're telling them it's still a Mac, and if we allow you access to these tools and diagnostic software, you are going to continue misrepresenting things to your customer. When we decide that we are going to take time out of our day to debunk this bullshit for free for the benefit of the people who work in this industry, it's funny, I don't remember seeing you there. So, I mean, again, you're going to sit there and call us an embarrassment when we're actually working to create change that benefits you. What are you doing that is going to benefit our business that is more than what Jessa and I have done already for free? You're calling us an embarrassment?